Hello everyone! First of all, I want to thank everyone for 1,000 subscribers. I cannot believe that my channel has grown so much. 1,000 subscribers may not be considered a big channel according to YouTube, but I'm floored that there are 1,000 of y'all out there that want to watch me draw stuff and make crafty things. I had to do something kind of special for this video just to celebrate, and I decided to redesign my original logo. I still really like my logo, and I may continue to use my original logo, but I have to admit that there are some problems with it. When I first designed it, I was pretty new to digital art, and I did not have the technology or technical skills that I do now, so it is a little messy, and if you zoom in real close you can see the lines are not clean or anything, and there are a few anatomy issues, and I'm hoping to fix that. I am using my iPad Pro, not the latest release, the previous release, and an Apple Pencil to do all of my sketching now. And the program I use is Procreate, which I really like. So I'm just, wait, no, dragon, give it back. Give it back now. You can't have this. This is not your film. Go, come on. Let's go. He left it a mess. Alright, let's undo this. Sorry about that. I think he wants to be included. So, I guess we'll include him. So, let's add a new layer and sketch in the little orange dragon. He always steals my art supplies when he's mad at me. Alright, and now we're done. Oh, hello, Stuart. Do you want to be added too? Okay. Fine, we'll add you too. At least Stuart asks nicely. Okay, so now I have everybody added in. It's time to start coloring this. I decided to go with the lineless style like I had on the original design, but I wanted to play around with the colors and definitely clean up those lines a little bit better. The original has a lot more muted colors, and I wanted to make the colors more vibrant in this version. And I also wanted to change the theme the color scheme from green and red to green and orange, because when you bring up the vibrancy of the red, it tends to look a little bit more Christmassy. At least it does with the shades that I had in the original. So while I'm doing all this, let's take a look at my first logo. So I designed this logo probably 4 years ago when I was just starting out my art business. I wanted something that would read well as a small icon, and I could also put on packaging, business cards, and labels, all that kind of stuff. I have to say, this reads really well as a small icon. It has some very strong shapes, and while the contrast in colors could be a bit better, it still brings out the features that are important. Yet while it is highly stylized, it does have some major anatomy issues that have been bugging me just a tad. One being the ears are too low. I know that's kind of a style that was popular a while ago. I don't know, it might still be popular, but the ears should be between the bottom of the nose and the top of the eyebrows, and these are way too low. The neck is also just a skinny cylinder. I wish I had put a little bit more shape into that. And the hair it could do with some individual strands, so it doesn't look quite so lumpy, I guess. These are all things that I am aiming to fix in this version. And I wanted to see if an improvement in technical skills would actually improve the design. Because it's not always the case that technical skill equals a good eye for design. Because one is physical, how well your muscles can do things and how many tricks you have learned, and the other is all about your eye and mind and where the ideas generate. I would say that if you asked me 10 years ago what I was better at, I would have definitely said design and generation ideas kind of element. I had a good eye for things and I knew how I wanted things to look. I just did not have the technical skills to do them. This frustrated me so much, and I worked really hard over the years to develop my technical skills so that I would could actually draw what was in my head. But now if you ask, I would probably tell you that technical skills are my strong point. I can still generate some great ideas, but I didn't work as hard at developing that aspect since I didn't know or think that that was a thing that needed as much developing as technical skills. So now that I have realized this, I am starting to work on that. I need to work on having a better eye for the composition of a piece and taking a unique approach to a piece instead of tackling it head on like I usually do. Anyways, I got off on a rant, so let's get back into this. So looking at this now, I kind of wish I had stopped here. I really like the flat colors, and I think that if I had just added some stark shadows, this would have been perfect. But since this is more for fun than anything, I just wanted to play around with all the new techniques I've learned and the fancy brushes I have in this program. I actually do stop here for a second to add my other characters into the logo. So I kept scrolling in and out to make sure that Stuart and the little orange dragon were still readable at small scale. I was afraid they would be too small. But Stuart actually reads really well, partly because he has a clear silhouette and partly because the color contrast is pretty good. The little orange dragon is a little bit harder to distinguish and could use a little bit more work on his silhouette, but there really isn't too much I can do about the color contrast because he's a solid orange dragon. Speaking of orange and dragon, when I draw him, a lot of people ask me if he's Charizard. I think that's how you say it. I'm not very good at, I don't really know my Pokemon. He's not. He's actually a little squishy dragon that I got from the dollar store that I put a wire armature inside. But I do have to admit, he does look like a mini grumpy version of the Pokemon in question. And actually, in reality, both Stuart and the little orange dragon are much smaller than I have them drawn here. But I figured if I drew them any smaller, they would just look like little specks of color. So I decided to size them up a little bit for this. If I do decide to start using this new logo, I'm probably going to do a little bit more tweaking as far as the design goes, especially with these two characters. And so with that, I thought I was done, but I was not done. I came back to it the next day to look at it with fresh eyes, and I decided that the ears looked a little strange. There was not enough contrast between the face and the ears, and I thought it was a little bit hard to see. So I decided to reshape the ears a little bit, then add in some wisps of hair. Then I decided to change the mouth. It looked a little cat-like. I darkened the philtrum, the upper lip dip, a little bit too much, so I lightened that and gave her a toothy grin. I thought this looked much better and was a lot more readable on a small scale. Then I decided to go in and darken up the nose a little bit more. I didn't think it stood out enough. And then I added a multiply layer with a really dark saturated purple on top of that. I just used a textured brush to fill that whole thing in, and then I went back and erased where I wanted the highlights to be. This was another one of those playing around with new techniques that I've learned over the years. It may have been unnecessary and a little bit overkill for this project, but I kind of wanted to try it out. Like I said, this one's for fun. I started out with it at full opacity and decided that was way too dark, so I went into the layers and lightened it up just a little bit. And I decided to leave it alone after that, so I'm pretty much done after this step. So what do you think? Do you think I did a better job redesigning it, or do you like the original one better? I really like my original logo, so I'm probably going to stick with that one for a little bit longer, at least until this new one grows on me. Again, I want to thank everyone for 1,000 subscribers. And as always, have a great day. Bye.